Welcome to Life Mastery Lounge, is where mindset meets midlife and your next chapter or next business idea begins. I'm Sarah, a clarity and growth coach, helping everyday midlife women reinvent their lives and their work with confidence, purpose, and a little midlife magic. Because you don't need another course, you need connection. Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm really honored to have you on my podcast.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. I'm honored to be here. Thanks for asking. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle, before we start the deep questions, tell us, who are you and what do you do?
Who am I?
Mm.
I'm a person, I'm a sweet, loving soul that likes to help other people. I love to learn, I love to create, and I love to just keep on healing and see how far I can go as far as, having an improved human experience. And when I use myself as a guinea pig with all the things I learn and I do, I just love to share what works with people, and I love to help other people, uplift them and help them feel empowered, and help give them tools uh, that they can use in their life and feel more empowered, peaceful, and joyful, and learn that our lives don't have to be so stressful, but our minds make it that way. And sometimes we think we don't have we don't have any kind of, we're like a slave to our brain. We don't know that we can learn to, navigate things and control things more. So that's the kind of person I am. I am a mental fitness coach. I teach people these kind of tools to help them improve their life. I work with a lot of different modalities, meditation, breath work, brain training techniques, cognitive behavior therapy, sometimes plant medicine experiences, mindfulness technique, somatic exercises. I don't believe there is a one template that fits everybody. I don't believe that there's only one way to go. I think the healing for people is different avenues. You got to learn how to train your mind, reprogram your mind from toxic messaging and stuff like that we've all received in our life. And then also release, a somatic healing where you're releasing energy from your body, because your body holds on to a lot of these traumas, and it's all energy, and it holds it in. So I think there's multiple things simple things that they just need to learn how to do. I love to provide the education behind that to them. So the scientific education, this is not theory. This is all very scientific. And the Western modern world is finally starting to catch up with this stuff. It's been around for many years. And, they look at the brain now with sophisticated imaging devices, and they can see. And so I'm one of the people that are the pioneers in this industry, where I'm teaching people how to improve their mental fitness and create a mental fitness belief system like they already have around physical fitness, right? We have a physical fitness belief system. We know that, if we do certain things and we don't have certain habits, and we wait, we know that we will get results that we want, right? This is proven, we know this. And we don't generally, a lot of people don't have the same belief system around their mental fitness. Okay. So around meditation, around brain training techniques, about mindfulness, about all kinds of these different holistic practices, when they understand how it works and how the brain and the body work and how these different practices affect the brain and the body, then they'll be like, oh, yeah, they experience it. I'm very, in my sharing of information, in my educating people, I'm very much in getting them to have an experience in their brain with their emotion, their mental, their physical, everything. Because that's when you get lasting transformative, effect. If you just listen to someone, go to a workshop and you listen to it, it's not, it doesn't sit, it doesn't stay. But when you really experience it, just like when you first experienced, physical training, you get endorphins. You go, oh, I feel good. I feel empowered. I feel strong. I feel happier. I have more energy. I want more of this. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing. So I used to be a physical fitness trainer years ago. So I like that analogy. And so I just love sharing things with people that help them, and I'm now entering into the corporate wellness arena. In the United States, there's some big providers, insurance providers that are paying for wellness services for their business clients. So, I work with a company and a business and I provide these, programs for them. I have different programs for employees and for leadership because a lot of people quit their boss, not their job.
Yep.
So I try to educate them and give them tools to be more empathetic and raise their emotional intelligence and, have mindfulness communication. And it improves not only the professional climate, the morale, but individually, personally, for these people that attend in their relationships at home, it just improves everything. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's a very beginning of what's happening now, and I know you'll see in 5 to 10 years this is going to be a big thing. People will all have, they'll have meditation coaches and they'll have a mental fitness program. And if they're not doing it, they'll be like, oh, I should do that, just like exercise.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I could listen to you for hours. I love that, and I agree. It's like when you go to you were explaining and very well. When we go to a workshop, yeah, we get all hyped up for that moment, but then it goes away because we didn't feel it, right?
it's
We
right.
didn't feel it in our brain. We didn't
Yeah.
experience it. We
Yeah.
just took somebody's excitement and we thought, oh, that's exciting, but then it's
Exactly.
not
If you
right.
didn't experience it and by implementing something,
Mm-hmm.
and also because, it's a challenge to create new habits in your life. It's a challenge for everybody. Okay. Uh, and so when you have some support with it, whether it be a group, whether it be a coach, whether it be just one other person, it makes a world of difference. Like one of the things I created is I call it a 30-30 challenge. Okay. So if I told you, if you could be shown simple brain training exercises that take like 2 to 3 minutes at a time, and you sprinkle those throughout the day for 30 minutes throughout the day, only 30 minutes, just you don't have to be like watching every minute, but generally, okay? And that would change how you felt throughout the day. You would be more peaceful, you would be more focused, you would be more centered because you'd be less stressed, because you would be more centered and peaceful. You're going to be more present, you're going to be more grateful, you're going to be more joyful. Would you want to try that?
Of course, sign me
Right.
up,
It's
right?
like an answer everybody. Now, if you tell them 30 minutes a day, they go, oh, I just don't have the time for it. Okay. But if I tell you 2 to 3 minutes throughout the day, you go, yes, I can handle that. Okay. And then what I do is I give a handout with this workshop. I love giving this, sharing this workshop with people. And I explain how it works and everything and what you're doing and how your mind and body are working together. And I give them a handout of all kinds of different practices throughout the day that they can do, all kinds of examples. Okay. So they pick what resonates with them most. Okay. And then I invite them to pick someone in the group. Okay. Or if they're not in a workshop, they could do it with somebody, they could do it with me as a private coach, or they could do it with somebody that wants to do this with them. So you get like a mental fitness buddy. Okay. Like a workout buddy. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't feel like going to the class today. And your buddy's like, come on, you got to go. And you go, okay. You know what I mean? So this is what you basically, you do this throughout the day. You keep on checking in with yourself. And then at the end of the day, every day, you contact your fitness buddy, okay, your mental fitness buddy, whether it be text, phone call, video, whatever you want to do. How did you do? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think you did? Did you feel present? Did you feel calmer? Da 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 da. And you share and you support each other. And you do that for 30 days. And when you do that for 30 days, you feel an experience and wow, I felt great. I want to do more of that. I've had people come back like, oh my God, they got to be a bigger bond with the person,
Yeah.
and just started to become more aware of their thought patterns and catching them more and centering them and listening to their body and checking in with themselves throughout the day. It transforms your life, everything. And they get so excited. I feel good. Keep doing it, and then
Yeah.
they want to learn more. And what else can I do? You know what I mean? And so I love sharing that with people. I put it in a lot of my programs and stuff like that.
It's awesome. Because you're right, we don't have time. Nobody has time.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. And
And so
if you just go, yeah, I can do that, And when I ask that question, everybody answers that. They go, yeah, show me how to do this. You know what I mean? Because we
exactly.
got so much coming at us all the time. And with technology, you've had a love-hate relationship with technology for many years. Here we are, you're in France, I'm in the US. I mean, it's beautiful how we met, everything, but our brain and our body is very challenged by this stuff, okay? And it's causing a lot of, side effects
Mm,
because we don't know how to, how to navigate it and I want to say not organize, but regulate it. You know what I mean? Like they say people check their phones, 100 to 300 times a day.
day.
Okay. And I was actually listening to a talk. I don't know if you're familiar with, I listen to people all the time. Andrew Huberman, he's a neuroscientist. He's he's brilliant. And he was talking about that what happens with this constant interrupting, we're constantly interrupting our day, okay, with this phone. I mean, this didn't exist before. We know we never had this, right? And I don't know how it is in France, but in the US, a lot of adults do this, and they're having a lot of problems with focusing. There's a lot of problems, but focusing is a big issue. And because what any new thought pattern or behavior pattern that you start to do regularly creates new neuron connections in your brain.
Yeah, new
So by
pathways, right?
doing this, we are actually changing our brain physically, and we're making it harder to focus for a long period of time. So the behavior we have with our phones is actually causing a big problem, ADD, ADHD, and instead of understanding that it's coming from that and other sources, okay, but
Yeah.
big time from the phone, we're going to the doctor and getting medicated. So we're medicating normal. Your brain is and your body's like, hey, we got some problems here, and immediately we want to go immediate gratification, take this away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then that's the whole discussion of what those long-term use of those medications cause serious stuff.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, and the detriment it is to our own health, right?
Yes.
Mm. Yeah, I stopped using my smart watch because when I changed and would put my watch, my normal watch, I would have this sensation that it was talking to me. That
Often.
it was all the time, and I thought, oh, I cannot do this.
No. And can you imagine, the things, I mean, I've seen them. I've never seen anybody use them, but it's coming. It's coming where they put something like a camera or whatever, something in their glasses.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen it, and
yeah,
you watch, it's coming. People will start using it. And I'm like, oh my God, that is not, your brain is not going to like that. Our brain is freaking out with this stuff. I mean, it's like, what are you doing? Yeah. And then, the stress up here becomes the stress down here.
body, yes.
It's not, we know. I think one of the most ridiculous debates we ever had years ago in the traditional, medical industry is, if the mind and body are connected and if they're affected each other. But
What do you
that's
mean?
insane. I mean, we know if we get upset, what do we feel? In our neck, in our stomach, in our back. I mean, immediately. Okay. Our jaw, we feel this sensation. I mean, you have to be totally disconnected to your body not to feel when you think, because what happens that's why it's really great to do different holistic practices where you're centering, you start to become connected to your body more. Okay. When you're going inward, you get more connected to your body. And then you start to listen to it more. If we're busy, like taking care of other people all the time, we're not taking care of ourselves and we're boom, 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 go, go, go. Totally disconnected to our body and we're not listening to it. We're just listening to all the noise up here. Right.
Yeah.
And our body is like, hey, I'm trying to talk to you. You know what I mean? And we're just plowing through, we're not even paying attention. We start to listen to it. And like, I'm so sensitive to it now. It's like, if I start to feel something in my neck or whatever, I go, okay, what were you just thinking? Because that's what it's coming from. Okay. What were you just thinking about? And usually it's like, I'm starting to feel a little anxious about the things I got to do that day or something like that. And I can like feel it right away in my neck, my certain, that's my certain
Yeah.
thoughts. Like, okay. And then I talk, and then you change it. Okay. There's nothing to worry about. Everything's going to get done. Stay in the present. You're going to the future. Just stay in the present. And I think it's super, super important to always approach this whole learning and healing and the human experience in general with a lot of love and compassion for yourself and a lot of grace, because this is very challenging. Okay. And we've got all these messages about how we should be a certain way and be perfect and, you know what I mean? And learning to change that inner dialogue and how you talk to yourself is absolutely essential to give yourself compassion and love. And when you get there, you're always going to keep on, I mean, I don't know anybody that's perfect at it. You know what I mean? Even it's a lifetime thing. I had somebody ask me, so she was asking about my book, and she goes, so do you think you are healed now? And I started laughing. I'm like, well, I'm healing. I'm much more healed than I was. I go, but it's a lifetime process. It's never ending, you
Yeah,
know? You know,
yeah, that's the beauty also of it, right?
yeah. I mean, you know Matthew McConaughey, the actor.
Yes, I do. That's
I don't know if you've ever read or listened. I highly invite anybody to listen to his book, Green Lights.
yes.
Okay. Have you?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing, right?
It is
So it's
amazing.
very inspirational.
It is.
And he talks. Well, I don't know if he talks about it in the book, but I just love listening to anything he talks because
He says, yes, I
he's
know.
so authentic and
Yeah.
so on the mark. He said somebody asked him years ago who his hero was, and he thought about it for just a short time. He said, "Me in 10 years." And the guy asked him later, like 10 years later, "So who's your hero now?" Me in 10 years. And I love that because you look at, if you can look back, in just a year or two, I can see just me a year ago, how I'm handling a situation differently, a more peaceful, healthier way than I would have before, something that was real challenging, just a year ago. So I love to see, and I think that when because healing in your life and learning and being more conscious, it is not a steady incline like this. It's this
Yeah.
dance. Okay. You've got old neuron connections that'll go and start to pull you over again. And that's why the love and compassion and grace is so important. Okay. It's not, oh, I know better. I should have done it. No, don't worry about it. I think the best gauge of progress for your growth is, getting back on track. Just get back on track in a real nice, gentle way. Like you're talking to a toddler or a little dog, taking them for a walk. They get distracted and you go, come on, this way. That's how I tell people to treat themselves when they're meditating too. Your thoughts take over. They're going to happen. You're going to wander. And then you go, wait, I'm supposed to focus on this again, just real gentle.
I love that. I love that because that's exactly it. And I it's for me it's been a journey to start meditating because I never felt I was doing it right because people were just getting it and they would meditate for half an hour and they don't understand why other people don't. I was like, I'm not like that. I'm not there yet. I'm not saying it's not true. But then I did feel a little bit judged by other people that were awesome doing it. And I was like, I wonder, my mind is constantly going because I'm having a lot of ideas right now.
Well, let me help you with that, okay? I love helping people with the right approach and the realistic goals for meditation because meditation is an absolute superpower. It will transform every area of your life and get benefits in every area. I mean every area, even sex, which a lot of people don't talk about, by the way. Because
Really?
you can learn to focus instead of you're engaging and all of a sudden you start thinking about what you have to do. Okay,
Yes.
women do this. Okay, and you can just go be center and bring it right back. I'm telling you, it's a very major improvement. Okay, so first off, the unrealistic goal is that you're going to quiet your mind. It's an unrealistic goal. Okay, your mind constantly is moving. Okay, and let me tell you, most of the people I talk to, like 99%, tell me what you say, that I have a hard time. I don't hardly talk to anybody that goes, oh yeah, I can do 30 minutes, no problem. No. Okay. Most of the people I talk to are challenged with this big time. Okay. So the goal is not to quiet your mind. Your mind is not ever going to stop. Okay. It's got stuff going on inside. It's got stuff outside. It's just constantly. It's like trying to stop your mind or your thoughts is like trying to stop waves in an ocean. It's not going to happen. Okay. So you just learn how to see it and navigate it. Like surfing the waves, you just navigate your thoughts. Okay. And learn to turn them around. All right. And learn that, okay, we're just going to gently come back here, like when you're meditating. So that's number one. Okay. So the goal is not to quiet your mind. The goal is to refocus. You wander, you refocus. You wander, you refocus. That's the goal, just to refocus over and over again. Okay. That's the training of your brain. Okay. And you can meditate just for physical brain training. It doesn't have to be a spiritual. A lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't have to be like that. You can just learn how to train your brain so you can learn how to get a hold of your negative sabotaging thoughts that we all have. You know what I mean? No, we're not going to think that way. We're going to think this way, or ask yourself questions. No, that's just a thought. That's not a fact. That's not real. And you start talking to it like that. And that's how you kind of turn it around. It's like cognitive behavior therapy techniques, but it's brain training. It works. You just say it over and over again. You talk to yourself because your subconscious is like a child that believes everything you say. Okay. Everything. Okay. So that's how you reprogram with your talk, right? And so you just go, oh, that's not true. I'm going to bring it back here. So you just keep on refocusing over and over. And what are you focusing on? It depends on what your meditation technique is. Okay. It could be a guided meditation where it's prompting you things. It could be your breath. It could be a mantra. It could be painting. It could be crafts. It could be gardening. It can be dancing. It can, you know what I mean? The common denominator is intent focus. All right. And then your mind gets quieter. It just goes in the background a little bit because you're focusing so intently and you feel more peaceful and you feel more connected. Okay. I was just talking to someone today at a park and I asked her if she were talking a little bit about this stuff and asked her if she had a meditation practice. And she said, no. She said, what? She goes, I don't have that kind of, immediately with your eyes closed. She's like, I am an artist. And so I can be really focused on my work for like hours and I feel amazing. I'm like, there's your meditation practice right there. I was talking to one guy, he's a rock climber. Okay. He's got to really focus intently.
Yeah.
Or else, you know what I'm saying? His risk his life, and so he does that. And then he's grounding with the rocks and stuff.
Yeah.
And he feels amazing. And this really helps him a lot because he's an IT guy and he has to sit in front of the screen a lot. So these modalities, these exercises, these practices counteract, they combat what our body and our brain are going through with technology. That's why they're needed more than everything, And to understand the meditation is just brain training. And you can use it to heal emotionally from trauma. You can use it for learning how to reprogram your brain. You can use it to connect spiritually. You can use it to cultivate self-love, forgiveness, so many things. Because the healing has to be inward to really be effective. Okay. And so understand it's not a quick fix. It's training. You wouldn't go, hey, I'm going to start my physical routine. And, I did it for, a few days or a couple of weeks and I'm not getting my immediate results. What's going on? You know what I mean? You're going to stick to it for a while because you're going to get this result if you keep it up. So when you approach it with compassion and love and you start in your mind, I'm not doing this right, blah, 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 blah. No, you correct that way of thinking. No, it's just something new. We're trying. It's okay. We're going to get better. And you get better at it. You get better at it. And sometimes, even when you've been doing it for a long time, that meditation was amazing, like super fantastic. And sometimes it was like, it was okay. I'm more relaxed. Or maybe I fell asleep. Okay. But people put a lot of rules around it. Okay. I don't think just learn how to center and also sometimes it really helps is if you do some movement first, because a lot of us have bottled up energy because we're not moving enough and we're not out in nature enough. And so just shaking around and moving your arms and stuff like that, stretching. Then if you're going to sit down and do that kind of meditation, that's very helpful because your body's like, okay, I can sit for a while now. If it's full of energy and you're like this, your body's like, I don't want to do
That's
this.
so funny. Nobody ever said that to me, but that's exactly what happens to me most of the time. Even though I try to do it in the morning, I feel that I have to move, I have to do something. And so being there, my mind is constantly going to the things I have to do. And I could be moving.
Just walking, shaking, just like
Yeah,
shaking. Like
yeah, yeah,
they have this thing they call the somatic shake.
yeah,
Somatic healing is like letting the energy through. And so now every time there's a term that gets popular, they use it for everything, right?
yeah.
So I start shaking. I'm like, oh, this feels great. I actually have a vibrating plate that I use sometimes too. I stand on. And then I heard that then they said, oh no, this is called the somatic shake now. Okay, whatever. Dancing, okay? Just any kind of movement, just get up and dance a little bit or shake a little bit, move around and then sit down and your body's like, okay, yeah, that felt good. It's so necessary. Not enough people are moving. Okay, it's like if you don't do movement in your life, it's like having a car sitting in your driveway and never use it. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to
Exactly.
get rusty and it's not going to work.
Yeah,
That's what happens to a lot of people if they don't move enough.
that's so true. I love that.
Yeah, that's why when I lived in Europe, I lived in Valencia for 3.5 years. Uh, a lot more people, just their lifestyle is moving and walking and biking way more than here in the States. Because in the US, our country was kind of built up around the car.
Yes, yes. You need
So
a car to go everywhere almost, right?
yeah, unless you're in a bigger city, like I'm in a bigger city, but Texas, I'm in Texas right now. I'm not from here originally. I'm from Chicago. Now, Chicago, the public transportation is great. Okay, not as good as Europe. I mean, it doesn't have the great, it has some metro in some areas, but yeah, Texas is like you got to have a car
You
for everything.
absolutely need a yeah.
Yeah,
Here, yeah, a lot of where I live on a small island, and people are very active. Everybody
yeah.
bikes everywhere, and it's actually very good. I need to adopt more of that.
I love walking and biking. I miss it more than I was doing because when I was in Europe, I did it all the time. I mean, I rode my bike almost everywhere for
Yeah,
transport. I didn't
exactly.
drive a car. It was awesome because I don't really like driving. I
Oh,
never really have liked driving. And for, the whole time I was in Europe, I never drove until one time I decided to go up to the Basque Country, northern Spain. I rented a car. But other than that, for 3.5 years, I didn't drive. And it felt great. I loved it. But when I got into a car again, I was really nervous. I was like, oh my God. It was like a teenager just learning all over again. I was laughing at myself. It's okay, Michelle.
it is okay, right?
Okay.
That's awesome. Okay, so Michelle, you've spent more than 30 years studying the mind, emotions, and human behavior. So, what were some of the most profound lessons you learned on your own healing journey?
Um, that the journey, our journey, the human experience is about challenges. It's challenging. It's challenges, challenges, challenges. It's one after another. We have this kind of fantasy story in our head that once we do this, this, and this, then we're going to arrive, and then everything will be great in our lives, and then and then if something happens, we're like, wait, what why is this happening to me? This isn't fair, and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I'm not trying to downplay any really hard, challenging experiences we all have in life, right? Especially with physical, disease or loss of someone you love, and it's very intense. I get it, but it's a part of the human experience. This is it. You know what I mean? And and the more that I surrender to that experience, the more that we can learn to. When I say surrender, it's not giving up. I mean, I never give up. I'm always kind of going forward, but if there's some experience that I'm having with somebody or something that's happened in my life, and I can't do anything about it, you know, I I I need to surrender to that feeling of what I'm having with it and let it move through me and then do what I can to move through that experience, move that energy through my body, and then learn how I can look at it in a way where I can be okay with it instead of being judging and being upset with it and resisting what is. You know, there's a great quote. I don't know the exact quote from Eckhart Tolle, but it's a really great grounding. I love quotes, and it's a great grounding quote. Is if I'm like, for example, if I get like, well, anything. I mean, I'm not using something minor. If I get like in a fender bender, I get in a little car accident, or I get a flat tire, or whatever, and I'm like, and you could get all upset. Oh my God, this is messing up. You can get all stressed out about it, or go, okay, this is what happened. Let's let go of trying to resist being all upset about it. Let's figure out how we're going to do it and move forward and be okay, and just, kind of go to the next thing. Stop resisting what is, if you can't. So that's like the surrendering to it. You know what I mean? Or, losing someone you love, I mean, people will sometimes just want to run out and get medicated right away, but you're medicating normal. Grief is a part of the human experience. Okay. So, learning to just sit with that and not be afraid of the emotions. So many people are afraid of their emotions because they don't know. We haven't been taught how to process our emotions. So we're running from them all the time. A lot of us have been taught to not feel them, to push them down, because people that we were with when we were little didn't know how to deal with their own emotions. You know what I mean? So they were threatened if we got emotional, and that's changing with more people's, education and stuff like that. But it's a real thing. And so not being afraid of our emotions is really important, to surrendering and learning to pivot and go with the flow of life. Understanding that my thought process in my mind is writing the book of my life. Okay. If I talk negative to myself and I identify with a certain way of being, then that's the kind of experiences and people I'm going to pull into my life. You know what I mean? I mean, I believe we have a vibrational frequency. And, if I go on and say about, I'm so unlucky, I'm just such an unlucky person, I'm going to keep on pulling those experiences into my life. Like, I had someone in my life that was doing that. I said, I really invite you to stop saying that, or it's like, if you have this identity, I'm a smoker. I've been smoking for years and I just can't quit smoking. I've tried many times. You're never going to quit smoking because you're calling yourself a smoker. Okay. Because you're identifying with that. You know what I mean? Or I'm an anxious person. Okay. You have anxiety. Okay. You just have to learn how to manage it. You don't have to label yourself that way. So all the labeling and the talking that we do is very common. That is going to dictate the life we have. And that no one can make me feel any way. Okay. They can have behavior towards me, but I'm, from my perception of what they're doing, I, in my mind, make something happen in me, and then I feel a certain way. Okay. It's up to me and my perception of what's happening to cause the feelings I'm having, and a lot of times people are like, oh, you triggered me, and point, how we point the finger at you, make me feel this way and everything. But it's really not true. It's not being accountable for your own power. You're giving it to somebody else, Another great quote from Eckhart Tolle, he talks about not being at the mercy of another person's state of being. Okay. It's great. Isn't that great? So if you have somebody do something to you that's really unfair and mean, or, whatever, yeah, okay, you can be upset. Of course, it's totally, and you have some, I'm not saying to stuff emotions. I'm not saying toxic positivity to push it down. If you have to voice your opinion, or if you tell them how you feel, go in a car or a private area and scream and, rah, what I mean, and get that out that way. Whatever you need to do, and talk to them in a more mature way and express why you're upset or something like that. But if you're holding on to that afterwards, after you express yourself, it's important to express, but afterwards, then you're giving your power away, and you're putting yourself at the mercy of another person's consciousness, their state of being. And that's always a great reminder, because of course I do it. You know what I mean? Immediately I start to do it, and I'm like, we're not going to do that. Okay. We're not going to let this other person disturb your peace. And it just takes practice. It's challenging. You know what I mean?
I absolutely understand that. And when somebody explained that to me, that's when I understood what forgiveness really was about. Because it wasn't about the other person.
Right.
I never understood that until someone told me, much the same that you're saying right now.
So you can have peace.
Yes.
It's not saying their behavior's okay.
No.
No, it's for you. So you can have peace. There's an amazing meditation that I need to record it with my own voice. That's one of my projects coming up next year is recording my own meditations for people. And it's a fantastic meditation, and it's about forgiveness. It's called Tonglen meditation, and it's a Tibetan meditation. And it's about increasing your empathy and compassion for the person that you want to forgive. And it could be yourself too. Okay. Because this is really important. All right. More you forgive yourself for behaviors and things that you should or shouldn't have done, and things you have guilt and shame around. Everybody has things. The easier it is to be more compassionate and offer that forgiveness to other people. So it's really important to do it with yourself. Okay. And then you have peace within yourself with that, but then you also can be able to forgive other people easier. Right. And so in this meditation, you're actually visualizing the person you want to forgive. Again, could be yourself or someone else, with like black smoky fog around them. Okay. And you're closing your eyes, like 15 minutes. You're breathing in the fog. Okay. Their suffering. So you're breathing in their suffering, whatever it is, their fear, their anger, their sadness, whatever, grief. And you imagine it going into your heart center, and you imagine transmuting it to love and healing energy. And then you exhale that out to them. So you're breathing in their suffering, you're exhaling love and healing. Now, the key to this is you're taking on their suffering. Okay, most people go like this when I tell them that. Okay, it's intense. Okay, yeah. I mean, if you're doing it right, you're gonna cry, you may scream, and you are feeling what they feel. And if you know the person well, you know what they suffer from, right? And you're taking it on, and like we talked about earlier, experiencing it.
Yes.
When you experience, put the person in your shoes. Okay, put yourself in my shoes. Yes, that is the ultimate, to be able to be empathy and compassion with somebody. But when you feel it, it's super intense. And it works. It's very effective, because now you can really empathize and have the compassion for that person, even when the behavior was very hurtful to you, because their unhealed trauma caused that behavior towards you. Okay. It's their unhealed stuff that caused that behavior. All right. And it's not to say that the behavior is right or anything, but when you experience their pain, it's much easier to forgive. It just comes. It's like, okay, I mean, I want to be forgiven for things that I did, you know what I mean, or didn't do. So, and what I tell people when they have this experience, to not do anything afterwards, because you're going through some major emotional stuff. It's very therapeutic. And don't go running off to an appointment or anything. No. Okay. Do what you need to do. Go out to nature. Do some really good self-care. Okay. Whatever you're called to do, you take care of yourself, and maybe not do anything for the rest of the day, but at least for a few hours. But I'm telling you, because deep empathy and compassion is necessary to be able to forgive. It has to be there, or else you're not going to be able to forgive yourself or anybody else. And yeah, forgiveness is one of the best tools you can learn to do. It gives you so much more peace.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even when you can do, because when you heal, you go through waves of healing. Okay. A lot of times people will think, oh, I already did. Why is this coming up again? I thought I dealt with this. I've already cried or did whatever and went to therapy about it or whatever. Why? Because it's just a deeper level of healing. Okay. Now it's coming up again, and you got to, the way you can heal from it is surrender to that feeling and lean into it. It's uncomfortable, but it's just temporary. Okay. It's like this meditation. It's temporary. Is it uncomfortable? Yes. But the benefits are amazing. It's temporary. And you lean into it and embrace it, because those feelings are who you are. If we call parts of ourselves negative or bad, which a lot of people call these feelings, okay, you're calling parts of yourself negative and bad. Okay. So that's why I don't even use those words anymore. I say challenging feelings, uncomfortable feelings. Yeah, they are. That's part of the human experience. But that's why your words are so important. If I use those words, I'm not talking badly about me. You know what I'm saying? If you use words that your parts of yourselves are negative and bad, then it's really hard to get deep, unconditional love for yourself, which is the absolute key to, a transformative life of being more happy, to love yourself. I mean, that when you love yourself more deeply, you're less concerned with what people think about you. And that's, as you know, fantastically liberating, right?
Yeah.
You're not worried about, rejection and judgment as much, nearly as much. I mean, you're human and you want to be accepted, okay? But you know what I'm saying? You can be, people can be really obsessive about that and really be getting neurotic about it, and really affect their life in a bad way. So being able to love yourself enough to be like, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do. I can go dancing out in public with no music, and I can just listen to it from myself and do a silent disco. And people look at me and go, "Look at her." I'm like, one of the things I did when I went back to on my book tour in 2023, and I went back to Europe for a book tour, and I wanted to do something I had in my mind to do this for years, like it's 2020. So for 3 solid years, I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do a flash mob. Do you know what a flash mob is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. For those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
flash mob is where one person starts and a bunch of people come together, either dancing or playing an instrument, usually. Okay. Just up, boom, it comes out like nowhere. And everybody's like, "Wow, look at this." Okay. So I wanted to do a flash mob to the song, The Cupid Shuffle. Now, I don't know if you know the Cupid Shuffle, very, very popular in the United States. If you heard the song, you'd probably know it right away.
No, yeah.
You go to the left, to the left, to the right, now kick,
Yeah.
now kick. Okay, super famous song. And
Yeah.
it's a great, great song to do as a flash mob because it's real easy. Okay. And the song tells you how to do it.
How to
Right.
do it. Yes.
So during the COVID, when we were all locked up, I did dancing videos, like some people. And so what I did, how everybody was clapping, okay, like in Spain and Italy. I don't know if they were doing in France, but they were clapping for the medical personnel every single night at
Yes.
7 o'clock for 10 minutes,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I have this video. I can share it with you on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel. So I created this video. I created this dance video of me dancing to the Cupid Shuffle, okay? And real loud, I had big shutter windows open in my place, facing apartment complex right in the middle of the city. And I was dancing. And then I made it end right when everyone was going to start clapping.
Happy.
So I was like, thank you. And I take it out, you see all these people, you know what I mean? I took my phone out there at the end of the video. Was really funny. The end of the video, you got to see. And so then I was like, oh, I want to do a flash mob. I told my friends. And so we wanted to, but I left and I came back to the States 16 months later, and we still couldn't get 3 people together. Okay. Because of the restrictions.
Yeah.
So when I went back, I'm like, we're doing it. So I contacted my friends. I'm coming back. Let's do this flash mob. So I had like maybe 10 people to start with me. They trickled in, and I recorded. It's on my YouTube. It was a video we did, and we did it right on the beach. Like where the boardwalk is.
Yeah.
And we had probably about 50 people join us. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I was the first person that went out there by myself, and the music's blasting and everyone's like, what's she doing?
Yeah.
But it was so joyful because they're not used to it. A lot of the Spanish didn't even know what a flash mob was.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even though the first flash mob I ever saw in my life was in Madrid. It was the first time. I'm like, oh, I want to go out and dance with them. And I went to the restroom and I came back and everybody was gone. And I was like, what happened? And the waiter's like, oh, it was a flash mob. And I was like, oh,
That's amazing.
So
That's living a good life.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that the more comfortable you are with yourself, and that takes work, okay? And deprogramming the toxic messaging and the unhealthy messaging you got from your culture or your childhood experiences or whatever. We all have them. And learning to be comfortable in your own skin, then you can connect with that joyful feeling of having fun as a kid, you know what I mean? And because the seriousness we get as adults is, and I do the same thing. I get, and I have to, okay, chill out, Michelle. Don't take it so serious. What's the last time you did something that really made you joyful? That's one of the blessings I have in my life that I have right now. I have a 20-month-old puppy.
Mm,
So he's a great teacher for me, you know? He's a great teacher to be present, be joyful, be, really interested
curious.
in things in life,
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And yes, I want the link for to that
Okay,
flash
the funny one. Okay, so I'll send you the link to the one of me. You don't have to watch me dancing all by
Yes.
myself the whole time, but fast forward it to the end so you can
Yeah.
see at the end because you will laugh, especially because I mean, even Americans laugh, but you had that experience, so you'll
Yeah.
remember. And then the flash mob is great. It's like the first part, everybody's dancing, and then it kind of goes into like it's very well done. It's professionally
Yeah.
done, Yeah.
Yeah.
You could
Good.
see everybody, the videographer like showed everyone watching and smiling and laughing. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. I love this. So tell us, how can people connect with you and how can they work with you?
Okay. Well, I'm going to show you a little, here's my book. It's in Spanish and English.
Right.
Mindful Metamorphosis, a compassionate guide to inner transformation, or Metamorfosis consciente, un guía compasiva hacia la transformación interior. You can also listen to it Audible or on Spotify in English with my narration because my Spanish isn't good enough. And I had a friend actually that I met in Valencia who was a professional translator who, when I was writing my book, she was like, I want to be a part of this. Let me help you translate this to Spanish because I really wanted it in Spanish too. So yeah, she gave me a real good deal and helped me. I mean, on Instagram, I'm my first initial M, Schalin. But if you just type in my name, Michele Schalin, you can see it on here, one L with Michelle, or Mindful Metamorphosis, the name of my company. You'll find me a lot. Okay, you'll find me on a lot of different websites, on my website, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Anybody that wants to work with me, I can work with anybody, via the Zoom or, the internet. I work private coaching. I do, the corporate wellness programs for companies that are interested or any kind of organization. I can also stream and take people through breathwork experiences through, Zoom and that. And I mean, anyone who wants to really feel better in their life, learn how to manage stress, learn how to, develop the spiritual connection, heal from trauma. There's so many different things you can do with the modalities I share. And I've done all of these things. And yeah, I just really love to help people. And if anybody, listens to the book or reads the book, it's not just about my journey. It's only in the first chapter that I share what we call in the United States a Reader's Digest version of my life, like a short. And then after that, I explain a lot of the things that we talked about here, how we can understand what's happening to us in the human experience and how we can learn to navigate and process and improve our emotional intelligence and our consciousness and our experience. And I share all kinds of resources from people I have learned, a lot of big experts you may have heard of or not, documentaries, TED Talks, books, everything. I'm like, check it out. Like, I'm telling you about this. You don't have to believe me. Go listen to this person. This guy's like a brilliant doctor, a neuroscientist, whatever, And so I'm always sharing really great things that you can investigate yourself and listen and learn from and maybe start, getting that resource for yourself too. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Okay, I have 4 rapid questions for you just before you
Okay.
leave us.
All right.
A word that defines this season of your life.
Uh, the season of my life, gosh, transformative. Yeah.
Nice.
Peaceful. I'd say more peaceful and transformative. Yeah.
it for me it came up to for you just because of your energy and everything that we talked about, joy.
Yeah, joyful. I knew you're gonna. I thought, oh, yeah, joyful. I mean, I love to smile and laugh a lot, and yeah, I love to really exude that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely feeling more joyful in my life than
Yeah.
most ever before. Yeah.
And I get it because I can see that when we work on ourselves, when we have the experiences and that we're really intentional about it, it's easier to be joyful in your own life.
Yes, and just remind ourselves, life doesn't have to be about enduring. You
Yeah,
know, it can be about enjoying instead.
exactly.
It's up here. This is up here. That's why this work is so important.
Absolutely. Okay, a book or quote that shaped you.
I really love one of my favorite quotes is Carl Jung. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become.
Nice. Like it. Something simple that makes you feel grounded.
Grounding. Do you know the science around grounding? Yeah, like I like doing yoga, like on the ground, like on
How
the
do you do
the
that?
grass.
Barefoot.
No mat. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah,
yeah. It's like when you go into nature, when you hug the trees and all of that.
yeah, grounding, and then also breath work, just breathing really deep and going inward and going, okay, how am I feeling right now? That's a real great. If you don't have the access to the nature and be able to do that, that's a great one. You can do that in your car. I do it all the time.
Good. I did not know that. What does self-care look like for you right now?
Say that again.
What does self-care
Oh,
looks
self-care.
look like for you right now?
Finding something every day that you feel joy, that brings you joy. Do something every day for yourself that brings you joy. That's great self-care for me because that reminds me to be joyful instead of getting too serious.
Mm.
Yeah.
Michelle, thank you so much for today. I really enjoyed our conversation and I can't wait to read your article that's going to be out in Life Mastery magazine in January. Yeah, right now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for listening or watching us today in the Life Mastery Lounge, where mindset meets midlife and your next chapter begins. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and connect with our community on Facebook at the Life Mastery Lounge. I'm Sarah Fernandez, and I will see you next time. Bye.